All right, everybody. Welcome to a special cocktail edition of the Badass Banker. I'm joined today with the linked banker, not to be confused with the inked banker. And his name is Eric Cook. And I don't know, Eric, are you familiar with the inked banker?
I am. I
Okay.
don't have any ink myself, but I do consider myself pretty linked.
Yeah.
So I went with that one instead. So that's what I'm going with.
So what's the drink of the hour tonight or today?
Actually, I'm a little flashback to Christmas. My brother and I are both Metallica fans, and we both
Far out.
agreed not to get each other Christmas gifts because we go on concerts, and that's kind of our gift. But Metallica released their blackened whiskey where they age the Metallica music in the barrels, and that's what they actually age it to. So every bottle of blackened whiskey has a playlist associated with it. So you go online and you can see which one of the bandmates picked the playlist that rocked out to the cask that aged your whiskey. So I've got some 092 blackened whiskey,
All
a
right.
special Christmas edition of blackened.
You gotta like that. Well, it's 6 o'clock here, so I don't know what time it is there, but
Yeah,
it doesn't
exactly. So
matter.
I
It's
don't
all
feel too bad.
virtual. Well,
And this doesn't happen all the time either.
I'm
And
having
yourself?
I'm having a local. It's a Williamsburg, local brewery. It's a Radler, which is it's hard to explain. It's beer and lemonade.
Beer and lemonade.
6% alcohol content. It's actually really good. My son likes it a
There you
lot.
go.
I mean, it's good. So tell me a
Well,
little about.
cheers.
Cheers to you too. Tell me
Cheers.
about the linked banker. What is that about? And I know you had mentioned specifically you've got some educational programs planned. I'd like to hear about them.
Yeah. So I was a banker for 15 years and have been speaking for the last 13 after I left banking and started an agency. And a lot of times I'll do a session and I'll get bankers that'll come up and they'll say, my eyes are opened. I need to do this. I need to get on Twitter. I need to have not a crappy LinkedIn profile. You've inspired me. And that feels really good. But then I know they go back to their office. They get back into the rat race. They might go back into a community bank environment where maybe not everybody is as jazzed about building relationships online as what I am. And they get pulled back in via inertia into their old life and their old job and their old habits. And then I look at their profile 6 or 8 months later, and it's crickets. There's nothing that's gone on. And so the thought around the linked banker is to give bankers a community where they can go in and participate with other bankers that want to make it happen, that want to build their brand, that want to demonstrate subject matter expertise and thought leadership and build relationships and make a safe space for them. And I do a lot of work in the marketing space, obviously, but the linked banker now, we've got a little over 40 bankers that have joined so far. It hasn't gotten a ton of effort, but we're doing a kickoff call coming up this week. And we've got a couple of CEOs. We've got a handful of commercial lenders. We've got a bunch of marketing folks. There's even a compliance officer and an HR person. And I want to just build this space where bankers can come in and they can learn, they can tap into my brain, they can get ideas, but they can learn from each other. So if a marketing director is having a hard time getting buy-in, they can actually hear from a CEO that says, we're doing it at our bank, and here's what we did, and here's how we got it across, and here's what's important to me as a senior executive. So building this environment where people can collaborate, and then you don't feel like you're going back and you're just on an island by yourself,
Right.
not really being able to move the needle from a social perspective.
So it sounds like it's a means for the bankers to build their personal brands.
Yes.
While fostering a sense of collaboration among them so they can kind of navigate the troubled waters that we are all faced with, right?
Absolutely.
So, yeah. All right, I like that. Yeah. So it's a collaborative community in essence.
Yep.
So, all right, good. So what's the website? And I'll put it in the comments below. What's the website?
It is thelinkedbanker.com.
Okay. Got it. It's
Yep.
simple enough.
Exactly.
Yeah. Wow. So
yeah.
So what was the genesis? Like when you were in the agency business, and I know you still do marketing, did you run into a lot of CEO types or banker types that struggled with building personal brand or?
Well, the genesis of this was I was at Social Media Marketing World a couple of years ago, and a guy by the name of Pat Flynn, he did a closing keynote that talked about basically who is it that you're put on this earth to serve, and where do you add the most value, and what are you the most passionate about. And I grew up in a banker household. I wasn't really excited about it because my dad was a banker and said I'm going to go be a banker when I graduate. But I ended up at the bank, and I got a chance to see all the cool stuff that he did as a banker, and I finally understood what was happening. And he told me, you will find out if you're going to be successful in this business, people are going to want to see you as their banker, not as just somebody that works at the bank. It's all about relationships.
Yep.
So as I'm sitting in the audience, I'm listening to Pat talk, and I'm hearing my dad in the back of my mind, and we've been doing some stuff for non-banks. And I just kind of said, you know what? I need to double down. I need to just focus on banks. And then I started thinking of all the times people would come up to me after a conference or after a banking school or, some sort of an event, and they would say things like, I just don't know how I'm going to convince compliance to do this, or I really wish you should talk to my CEO because I think he's the one that really needs to see this, or she's the really one that needs to hear this, the compliance officer, whatever. And so Pat was there. I'm in a room full of, social media fanatics that don't really have a lot to do with banking, but it's all about being outside of your norm. And so the only regret that I have is I had this idea 2.5 years ago, and it wasn't done and ready to go when we jumped into this pandemic, when everybody decided they were going to go digital only. And I had a number of people from my team say, don't you wish the Linked Banker was up and running already?
Yep, there you go.
So I joke that it only took a global pandemic to get me off my ass and do this. But the fact is, the bankers that I've been talking to and the ones that have joined and the ones that get to hear the story all have been very positive and excited about having a community they can go to and learn. And I get a lot of just LinkedIn messages and emails, and it's not to say that those are going to go unanswered unless you're part of the Linked Banker community.
Right.
But we're going to be building an ecosystem that's going to give us a way to be able to get to me faster and to others in a way that I think doesn't really exist out there right now. And so I'm just really excited to be kind of part of putting together something that I think is going to be way bigger than me down the road.
Yeah, no, it sounds exciting. I'm a big proponent of social. I mean, I've been doing it for, I think, 11 years now or something like that, maybe longer. And, to me, you've got to be in the business of wanting to foster a relationship, right? Because there's a return on these relationships. It's like networking 101. And there are a lot of people out there that are not type A personalities. I tell them, you just be yourself, just talk about the brand you represent and what you're doing at that brand. And if you get a chance, pepper it with some little personal information. So people kind of see through the brand, and they see the man or the woman behind the brand, right? That's the great equalizer, right?
Yep.
I also tell them avoid politics as much as you can, which is
amen to that.
Pretty damn hard to these days. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely a need for it. I'm seeing, especially over the last 4 months, more and more bankers and credit union people reconnecting on LinkedIn and on Twitter. I've got a number of clients and former clients that are on Facebook. They're really active, right? In many ways, it's all they've got right now because they're hunkered down. Right?
Exactly.
So, I mean, I think the timing's great. I mean, so what if it took a pandemic? To me, it makes perfect sense.
Right.
What's on in the immediate future for you guys?
Well, I guess from a global or a Linked Banker perspective, we've got a kickoff call coming up this Thursday. We're going to bring everybody together, kind of walk through the platform. We've got a forum that people can participate in. We're going to be building out a private Telegram chat channel.
You going to use like Slack or something? Oh, okay. Yeah.
Well, we thought about Slack. And this is one of the kind of, you probably lived it, the idiosyncrasies of the banking world. There's still a lot of stuff that's locked down.
Yeah.
A lot of bankers can't get to Slack. A lot of bankers can't get to Facebook. We thought about a Facebook group. There's still some bankers that can't even get access to LinkedIn on their office computer.
Yeah, no, I've run into some of those, and that's a shame when you think about it.
Yeah. And so we're trying to go with something that's secure, that's free, that's easy to use. Not a lot of people know about Telegram, but it's a really cool little app that's super simple. If you know how to text message, you can use Telegram, and we're going to give everybody instructions on how to find a private group. And it's kind of our own little secret spot. Once you figure out how it works, I think people are really going to like it. I don't have any paranoia around Facebook, but I know there are some people that are concerned about WhatsApp being part of the Facebook ecosystem.
Yep.
WhatsApp is a very popular app and we use it a lot, but I think Telegram has that independence and its privacy that will make it really easy for that asynchronous communication where people can throw ideas in. I'm working with a personal coach, and her and I are using that, and it works really well. You can leave voice messages. So we're going to talk about that, and everybody that's joined the Link Banker thus far is part of what we're referring to as a founders group. So when we start charging for membership, they're going to get locked in, and we're not going to increase even if it gets to be more expensive because of the value we're bringing. But founders members get an opportunity to participate in a survey to tell me what their challenges are, and we're going to walk through what those are, and I'm sure we'll get a lot of amens and ahas. And so we're on the bus. I'm kind of driving it, but I'm letting everybody else be a backseat driver to help make sure we go where they want to go.
Well, I mean, that way it's much more inclusive, right? You're going to get
Absolutely.
you're going to get a lot of good ideas out of 40 bankers. There's no doubt about it. Now, you said you actually have a compliance person that's going to be part of this.
Yeah, we've got one. I think one compliance. It's kind of hard to tell because when they sign up, we just get their name and email address. But I recognize a few names in there. The cool part is, while I would have expected most people to join because they know me and I know them, there's bankers that are part of this group that have heard about it someplace that I don't even know who they are, and I'm going to get to meet new people, and so that's pretty cool. So I'm pretty geeked about that.
Yeah, once you get the word out, people start coming. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah.
That's what happened with this whole badass banking thing. I mean,
Yep.
People are saying, "Hey, I'd like to spend a little time talking to you." Maybe it's therapy. I don't know. I'm the Fraser Crane.
I've never been on a webinar / screen share where I've been encouraged to indulge.
Well, it's like I said, 6 o'clock. Now you're in California.
No, I'm actually in Michigan.
Michigan. Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right. I don't know why I said California. So I saw something about lake behind you on a pillow. You spending time at a lake house or something?
Yeah. So we're trying to sell our home downstate here in Michigan during this global pandemic, which is a little nuts, but we decided, normally I'm traveling a lot and I don't get a whole lot of lake time at our cottage. And so we just basically, wife and the 2 dogs moved up here, and I've been hunkered down at the lake and enjoying some time in the water. So
yeah, that's kind of the life I've been living too. We've got a place on the Chesapeake, and it's a safe house. You know what I mean? You get away, and it's close, but not too close. We're a little worried tonight. We have a hurricane pending. It's knocking on our door actually. So by 8 o'clock tomorrow, 70-mile-an-hour winds or something. But it's par for the course.
Down the hatchets, huh?
You live on the water. That's what happens.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to tell us about yourself? Anything that makes you tick? Like what do people need to know about you?
Well,
obviously you're very shy.
Yeah, I'm pretty shy. I'm pretty reserved. I got a killer hairdresser.
We use the same barber.
I know. Yeah. I visited him this morning actually. So I was getting a little shaggy. If I can touch my ears, that's when it starts driving me nuts, and I got to take care of that. So, the other thing that I'm pretty stoked about is, when I was a banker, I attended the graduate school banking in Madison, and I've got the good fortune of teaching at a lot of banking schools, but GSB Madison, last spring, we had an idea for this thing called a digital banking school.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to thinking that, maybe there's banks out there that would like to get behind this whole concept of digital banking and, really dive into the issues related to vendor management and compliance and legality and talent and technology and core provider versus fintech and marketing and relationship building, what I talk about. So we've been working on this for over a year, and we released the school, and they picked me as the program coordinator, and I got to work and select and help pick faculty members to bring on board.
Oh, that's
But
awesome.
we released the school, we sold it out, 30 spots. We've launched a second one. And as of the recording date, I don't know when this is going to get pushed out, but as of the recording date, we have released a second session that's only now got 10 spots available. And I'm really excited to see all of these bankers excited about digital banking. And I think COVID has pushed them in that direction, lobby closures and the digitization of their relationships and mobile utilization. But a lot of them are now kind of thinking at the board level. And I know I'm preaching to the choir on this one for you too, because you've lived it for years. But how do we take this beyond just offering online account opening to call ourselves a digital bank?
Yep.
And so the school's got some real powerhouses that are part of it, and some awesome faculty, some people that I've known for years, and some people that I've just met. And so that's going to be a pretty awesome program kicking off at the end of September.
If you have a link to that, send it and I'll post it in the comments below.
Yeah, I'll definitely send it over to you. And there's the ability to check out all the faculty members, and I hesitate rattling them off because I'll probably forget one and that'll make somebody upset. So I'm just going to say, look at the site and check out all the faculty members because they're awesome. But that's pretty cool. And I'm really excited about putting that together and being a part of that initiative, because I think the banking space is ripe for this. There's so many opportunities. I've seen our customers do so many cool things during the PPP and figuring out ways to help their small businesses stay afloat. And that's when the light bulb's gone off. And many of them have just decided, you know what, we're going to keep running. And we never would have gotten here if it wasn't for this. But now that the ball's rolling, let's take this momentum and do something cool with it. So I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, as wacky as things are, I think there's never been a more exciting time for the industry. And you know, fintech and finserv are starting to collide in a very positive way. It's very consumer or member or customer centric right now. And digital is not the end all for everything. You know, it's a strategy to increase engagement in a world that's ever increasingly mobile and ever increasingly, you know, remote. So it makes perfect sense. You know, you read about traditional brands every single day that are going under. Yesterday was Lord and Taylor. You know, it's been around forever. You know, they filed chapter 13. It's things. The world is changing, and and COVID gave us kind of a kick in the ass a bit. So I think it's all going to come out okay. I mean, unfortunately, it's a pretty serious, you know, disease or virus, but we're going to come up with a vaccine. And hopefully we'll learn from this, you know, from a society point of view as well. So I'm encouraged about the future. Well, listen, it's been a pleasure speaking with you.
Likewise.
I'm going to provide again all your info below. I'd like to hear more about the events. So send me all the links you want me to put there. I'll put them out there. For those of you watching, please like, subscribe, dislike, comment, say positive things, negative things. I don't care. Talk about our hair. Talk about our glasses. We don't care.
Or lack thereof.
That's right. It's all about engagement. All right. Well, listen, Eric, been a pleasure, and we will talk again soon. And again, I'll post all your info below.
Cool. Thanks, Brian. Badass.